Hello everyone, welcome back to Core IQ. We're here to talk about some great stuff with some life skills. We're here with Tanya Brown. Everybody knows who Tanya Brown is on planet Earth unless you've been living in a cave. The whole O.J. Simpson crime scene murder trial. Tanya went through that, and not only went through that horrific ordeal losing her sister, but also had some of her own personal challenges which she successfully has met. And on top of that, has gone back to school to earn a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. So academically very qualified to talk to us. So welcome, Tanya.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in. This is episode 43. We're talking about the peak performance theory. You know, there was a period in my doctoral studies where I was just studying books and books and books on, you know, peak performance and success and all thriving, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? My goal is to make this a little more easy to understand because I'm not that bright. I need kind of something way to formulate this. And this is kind of what I came up with. I really kind of like it. I hope you do too.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but let's talk about it. I mean, on this side, we have a negative situation. This is something that's bad that's happened, and you had something very bad that happened. Maybe you can talk about that as we work through the model.
Of course.
On this side, we have a positive situation. But believe it or not, there's a negative way of handling even a positive situation, and there's a positive way of reacting to a positive situation. So we got our unhealthy behavior here, and our healthy behavior here, and a negative situation and a positive situation. So it frames up basically four quadrants that in life, in terms of our life skills, we got to work through. So let's start out bad in quadrant 4.
Okay.
And then we'll go to quadrant 3 and 2 and 1
Perfect.
and take it one at a time. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So a negative situation, unhealthy behavior. I mean, you get a call one day, your sister's been literally murdered.
Yeah.
That must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, life-changing
Yeah.
in a hot second. And that's the thing. I'm all about gratitude, and if your goal, that needs to be the goal. So my negative situation was the murder of my sister.
Right.
My unhealthy behavior, I went to a dysfunctional relationship.
Okay.
So when we have a negative situation or we feel empty, we have that hole in our soul.
Okay.
So when you have pain, you become angry, you become rageful, you blame, you become abusive or abused or
both.
or addicted, right? So everything, it's your choice to have an unhealthy behavior in a negative situation. But again, it takes a lot of self-care and a lot of self-awareness to get out of this, and time.
Okay. So this is the antisocial personality disorder. This is kind of the sociopathic behaviors. This is the embittered state. Someone who is in a negative situation and have a very bad behavior
Exactly.
about it. So when a lot of people come into the homeless shelter, they're obviously in a negative situation.
Right.
There's no question about that. But some of them have a very negative attitude about it. They're very bitter. They're abused or abusive.
Entitled.
Angry, entitled. Yeah, I'm glad you threw that in. You know, all this kind of stuff. They come from the homeless shelter into a shelter where they have plenty to eat, they get a shower every day, they have free clothes, they're given job support, they're given mental health support, therapy. So now they're in a positive situation, but some of them kind of hang on to the unhealthy behavior. Some of them are narcissistic or superficial. I mean, what do you think about this particular quadrant?
Well, okay, so in the world of recovery, I'm not like those people.
Yeah.
I'm not like that homeless person.
Yeah.
I'm not the one who was found drunk face down in a gutter.
Yeah.
Right? So that's an unhealthy way in a positive situation. So being selfish is very, very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Even though you're in a positive situation.
Yeah.
Also, I think taking things for granted is an unhealthy behavior in a positive situation. You know, people are here to help you. But if you're not willing to accept it, I think that's a very unhealthy behavior as well.
Okay, and let's switch gears. Let's say you're not in a homeless shelter. Let's say you're in a nice mansion in LA.
Yeah.
And you're, some people are flaunting their wealth. They're making others feel bad because they happen to have a better situation.
Right.
We're here in Orange County. Believe it or not, there are some shallow people that live here in Orange County. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yep, they're fake.
Fake, egotistical.
Vain. Okay, so you've got these selfie things happening,
Yeah.
right? So that's all vanity. It's like, hi, look at me, I look better than you. Right. And then there's also like comparison too, which we see among our youth especially.
Right.
So it's like I'm comparing myself with other people, therefore, I'm gonna find myself, flaunting or being promiscuous or whatever that is.
Right. Absolutely. So you can have a very healthy situation, but you can handle it in a very
different
bad way. There's a television show that comes to mind I'm not going to mention, but you've got people who are rich and they're just flaunting it and acting so shallow.
Oh,
and
I know which one you're talking about.
You just want to barf. I mean, that.
Watched it last night.
Too bad I get sued if I said who we're thinking about here, but that's bad behavior. Those are narcissists. Not cool.
Yeah.
Narcissism is not a path to success.
It's not. It's all about me. And and that's why, narcissism obviously is in the Diagnostical Statistical Manual, right? Which is, it's that I'm going to assess you and it's a diagnostic book that therapists use. So narcissism is in there, and we're seeing more narcissism now than ever because of social media.
Yeah, and it's disturbing to see kids actually follow that stuff as an example of I want to be like that. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about unhealthy behaviors. Now it's the fun part where we get to kick it into positive behaviors. Now, you had a very negative situation, hands down, no question of that. And yet, I know that you and your family have handled that in many ways. I know there might have been anger and rage, obviously. There's got to be.
Of course.
I get that. But there's also some really great examples to come out of that as well in terms of courage and wisdom and authenticity. Talk about the good things you and your family experienced in dealing with a negative situation.
Yeah. We took the focus off of ourselves and we focused on the children. We had Sydney, we had Justin, and then my sisters had their kids.
Right.
So we became, okay, what can we do to have fun? Let's go to the beach, let's play, let's go to Disneyland. So that was our healthy behavior in a very negative situation. We need to start getting out of our own way and thinking about other people as well. Putting ourselves first in a healthy way so then we can really be there for other people. But we're very forgiving. We're a very forgiving, well, maybe minus one person in my family, but we're very forgiving. When you can get to a point of a healthy behavior, you're open to forgiveness. You become more warm. You experience empathy and become more compassionate. Why? Because you've had something really horrible happen to you. I don't know if you have people like this in your life, but they haven't really had like a life-altering challenge in their life, and that can be on any level.
Sure.
So they have a hard time experiencing this because they've never gone through something traumatizing. Almost like, I wish I had your life, right? Like, because they haven't had a real serious life-altering event. When you do, this is a lot easier. Because you're experiencing somebody in front of you or on the phone or in business, and you're able to come to the table with more compassion, warmth, practice your ethics, what your values are and your morals. Well,
speaking of which, when I think of warmth, honestly, I think of your mom.
Yes.
I remember talking to your mom right in the thick of the trial. I mean, there's news vans and there's just this or that. Your mom was always, if she wasn't warm, I never saw it. I mean, she was always sweet and warm and welcoming, even though her and her family were going through a horrific thing. She acted with a lot of class, a lot of dignity. Your dad, very ethical. I mean, the guy was
by the book.
He was the real McCoy. From that rare Greatest Generation World War II.
That's him.
Combat veteran. I just was in awe of your dad. And we would sit in the car and just talk. And I never shared with a single soul anything he shared with me because it wasn't my story to tell. It was his story to tell. But he was the theme through everything he'd say was ethics.
Yeah.
He was just a man of character.
Yes.
So here he had lost his daughter. I can't imagine a worse situation. I really can't.
Yeah.
And I remember my daughter was about 1 at the time of this whole thing. And I went to drop some papers off to your dad, and I didn't expect to even see your dad. So I like to drive around when I had errands and take my daughter to spend some time with her. And I had her, and I went to the receptionist and dropped some papers off. Your dad heard us and came running around. He comes running up. I thought, oh, Lou's happy to see me. He didn't care about me. He just took my daughter.
Baby.
And he's making my daughter laugh and smile.
Aww.
And that's when it hit me, because the thought came to me, he's playing with my daughter, but he lost his.
Yeah.
And that's where I just got really kind of choked up with the pain he was was very definitely feeling. But he handled it all with class.
Yes.
He really did.
Yeah.
So
And it wasn't fake at all.
No.
Not fake at all. You can't pull that stuff off.
No.
He's really he was pretty outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah. So having a negative situation, having positive behavior, your mom and dad, Denise always, had a lot of this going on.
Right.
And before we move off this, with Denise, she took that negative situation and she went to work to help battered women.
Exactly.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, we started a foundation. My dad originally started the foundation. Denise took off running with it. And so many good things have come out of it. So many good things. We're talking about domestic violence. We're taking a nasty conversation from under the kitchen table.
Right.
We're talking about it.
Right, front and center.
Laws have changed.
Yeah.
So even though it was a horrible, negative situation, some good stuff came out of it.
A lot of good stuff. I went to a lot of events where women would come up to talk to Denise. I just happened to be standing there and observing, and they were like profusely thanking her.
Yeah.
And we went to a charity event where the same thing happened with you, where women come up and say, I'm alive today.
Because of Nicole.
And my kids are alive because of the education that your family championed.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And we still get that, which is amazing. We're going on 25 years later now, and people are still impacted by Nicole. In fact, negative situation, healthy behavior. 2 gals last year, it was last year, came knocking on my door, sent me an email saying, we wrote a song called I Remember Nicole.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 25 years later.
Heard it, yeah.
So, you can look that up on hashtag I Remember Nicole. But again, taking a really horrible situation, we're back in the Me Too movement. We're seeing domestic violence now again on the television with some NFL players, but again, 2 women taking a horrible situation, creating a music video that's impacting so many people.
Yeah.
So every time I watch that video, I get choked up because I'm like, oh my God, people really still resonate with Nicole.
Oh yeah.
So we've taken a very horrible situation, and there's so much to the back end that a lot of people don't know. But a lot of good stuff has come out of it. And that can be for anybody, with regards to your own personal situation. So, but it's a choice. You can either stay here and be bitter and be angry, right? And be antisocial, or have the choice of being empathetic and warm.
Yeah, well said, because this is a phase we got to go through.
Yeah.
And I think
and it's normal.
It's totally normal.
Yeah.
But the goal is to shift it to here and have that kind of behavior. I really genuinely believe your family kind of set the gold standard and really changed a worldwide conversation. Yeah. Just like you said, I remember sitting at the kitchen table thinking,
don't you love it? I got to write a book called The Kitchen Table Conversation.
I really need to, because I remember thinking, you know what? I'm a numbers guy. I'm an economist. I do numbers and math and all that. And your family's sitting there talking about murder and domestic violence.
You poor guy.
That happened to, it wasn't a theory, on the other side of the country. It was affecting your family. Honestly, that's a conversation that I was not at all comfortable with. I was kind of white knuckling it there at the kitchen table. But I thought, this is so interesting, because I'm not comfortable with these topics, but I like these people so much. They're really cool.
Oh, thanks.
And so I mean, it literally was a game changer for me because now it's, I actually ran into someone who was in an abusive situation, and it was like, I knew what to say because I had sat and listened, and it changed the trajectory of her life.
Exactly.
So
Good.
that was a ripple effect from sitting at your kitchen table. But that's gone on all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah. Super cool.
Good.
Okay, so let's go to the blue. This is where we would like life to always be.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about
I like how you said
passion.
that.
Well, if you're going to pick one trait, this is my own I did the chart, so I get to pick the word I like the best. I hope you agree.
Okay.
Is kindness.
Yes.
You're always been very kind. Your family's always been very kind. Kindness, but let's talk about where we want to hang out.
Exactly. So I love the world. The world. I love I like the word kindness. We are absent and void of kindness in this world right now, and it's such a shame. So assess what's going on. Do you like what's going on? If the answer is no, then make a choice to do the kind thing. In fact, I have a T-shirt, and I don't know if I can say it. You can always edit it out. But it's the Kind granola bar, and their T-shirt says "Do the kind thing."
I love that.
Isn't it? It's great.
Yeah.
But that is what's really void in our world today. People are mean, they're angry. Why? Because they had trauma, they're negative, they're creating some unhealthy behaviors in a negative situation. So they're unable to feel kindness, and they're unable to accept their situations.
So to find all the negative stuff, we're inclusive.
Yeah.
We let other people into our group.
Exactly.
Happy, grateful, gratitude is huge. Accepting of others.
Yes.
I know that ever since, Nicole passed away, in terms of my evolution, I've been much more accepting.
Yeah.
I had a group of people at my house last weekend it was a small group, a guy flew in, but we had some people there who I normally would not have hung out with, who I was really happy that were there.
You're right.
So I'm kind of trying to invite different points of view literally into my life.
Right, good.
With
that comes growth.
Yeah, it comes growth, kindness, fun. I mean, it's not sugar-coated fun or fun at somebody else's expense, but genuine fun.
Exactly. Have fun. Laugh. Go. When was it that we stopped playing? When was it?
I never have, but...
Yeah, I know, right? But majority of people have stopped singing in the rain, jumping in rain puddles, playing in the snow, whatever. We don't have that here in Southern California. But when was it that we stopped having fun?
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to if time and money were not an issue, what would you be doing? And then go do it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go one step further.
Okay.
What made you stop doing it? And then avoid that.
Right.
So if you're a workaholic, find the balance. If you're living in, unhealthy behavior from a trauma, reevaluate that. Do what you need to do to eliminate that. Because what we want to do is chip the ugly out of our body so then we can live like that. And, a lot of people, my girlfriend always says, Tanya, you have a happy gene. She goes, you're so lucky. She goes, you're kind of born with a happy gene.
Yeah.
And she said that to me so long ago. She goes, with me, I have to work at being happy. It takes effort. So if you're one of those people, you may have to, try a little bit harder to be happy, but there are tools and resources in this program that can help you find that. Another thing too, she asked me this. This goes back, I've known her since 4th grade. She said this, oh my goodness, 20 something years ago. She says, if a situation, a person, a job does not add value to your life, then say no.
Yeah.
So with this, by going through all of this, you also create really good boundaries. And boundaries aren't, I hate you or anything like that. It's just, if it doesn't feel right viscerally, don't engage in it. If it doesn't add value, you're going to feel it in your gut, but we don't pay attention to the visceral feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And a thought that occurred this last week is you have a very, very busy schedule, so do I, and a lot of good opportunities come along, but greatness means saying not only no to the bad things, it's saying no to some of the good things and focusing on the things that are really top priority in our lives.
Exactly.
You know, to kind of keep it here. But the basic point of this model is these are negative behaviors. Being an egomaniac, being a narcissist, being a jerk, or being angry and raging and bitter, all very negative behaviors, of which we have the choice for. And by the way, everybody's guilty of this at one time or another. I mean, there's times where we, you know, it gets to our heads, or there's times where we get a little too mad.
Right.
I totally get that. That's normal. But we constantly want to fight the gravity that's taking us down and push it up into these areas when we're dealing with a negative situation, and we look back, like your family can say, Mom and Dad act with total class through that horrible situation. You know, also handling the good situations by enjoying ourselves, but inviting others to the party, and being inclusive, and being grateful for everything we got.
Exactly.
Okay.
I love this.
Me too. And we hope you love Core IQ. Remember, Core IQ are the skills we all need, but that we're generally not taught in school. So we learn them here, and we elevate our Core IQ. Thanks for being here, Tanya.
Thank you.
And also make sure you like it, share it, talk about it, and let's elevate the Core IQ of the world. All right, thanks.